AI, artificial intelligence, the robots are taking over. Throughout the past few months, AI has gone from a very janky and basically hypothetical technology to what is essentially real-life sci-fi robots. AI at the beginning of last year was nothing to write home about. It could make some abstract shapes, do some things you asked it to, but now it can make realistic art, mimic nearly anyone's voice pretty closely, and do your homework for you. This is groundbreaking stuff that will surely change the way we interact with technology and probably uproot everything in our jobs, education system, and society as a whole in the next few years. But how will it affect the gamers? Now, as scary and exciting as AI is for what it could do for the entire human race, there are a lot of applications that this technology has in the realm of game development. Because at the end of the day, AI has been a core part of gaming since the early days. Bots, NPCs, enemies, all of them use some form of artificial intelligence in the pathing, behavioral patterns, shooting, in nearly any game. It's been around forever, but not in the same form. So that begs the question, now that AI has advanced so much beyond that, how will it be implemented within games to enhance the overall experience? First of all, from a developer standpoint, you can just ask ChatGPT to write the code for you, which is really funny, but there are so many game features that can become possible thanks to AI. Chatbots can completely change the way we interact with NPCs in so many ways. Take, for instance, a game like Fallout New Vegas. That game is regarded as a masterpiece based on the amount of choice it offers to the players and how they deal with conflict. But even with the choice available, there are still options that players want to take that they just can't. Take, for instance, in the tutorial, there's this ink block test that people thought looked like two bears high-fiving. But that wasn't a dialogue option, like you couldn't choose that. People went so far as to mod that into the game as an option because they felt so strongly that it looked like that. Regardless of how much choice you have, players will always want to do something else. And this is the strength of something like D&D. Your choices are infinite. The DM is a person whose sole role is to run the game regardless of how the players choose. There are so many stories of DMs making these detailed campaigns only for the party to go in the complete opposite direction, but every time, the players have way more fun with it than they ever would have if they just followed the path. Like if you're playing Skyrim, you don't want to go around the mountain like the devs want you to, you're climbing that thing. So if you implemented AI into the dialogue of every character, you could have infinite conversations with anyone. And I made a couple shorts talking about doing something like that in a game, but the more I thought about it, the more possibilities it started to create. So let's imagine a hypothetical game that could be made today or in a couple years with our current technology. It would probably take like 5 to 10 years to actually make, but we have or are very close to having the technology to do this right now. And in this game, every NPC has the potential to be a main part of the story. So this is how the system would work. Each NPC will be given several attributes. They will have one of 16 personalities taken from the Myers-Briggs personality test. There will be one of 10 races, which gives them different cultural backgrounds. Will be one of 5 age groups, which gives them different life experience. And will be from one of 5 classes, like lower class, middle class, that sort of thing. So if you multiply all of these traits, you are given 4,000 unique NPCs that have the potential to do anything. And that's not to mention professions, skills, goals. Like there are so many things that you could add, but for the sake of this hypothetical game, let's say that they each have 3 goals, a main one and 2 secondary ones. The main goal would be like their dream, like living in a mansion, killing a dragon, something like that. While the secondary ones are more realistic, short-term goals like finding a job, finding a girlfriend, going on a walk right now, or going to fish. Now, I'm not sure how much processing power this would need, but in theory, you walk through a town and see 10 people wandering around, each with their own random mission that they have. But they don't really do anything other than walk around and maybe work on a random task, at least until you talk to them. And once you interact with them, they're assigned a name and become a permanent part of the world. Like if you leave and come back 10 years later, they're still gonna be there. Let's say you're walking into a town, you see a dude that seems interesting, and you walk up to him, you stop and talk to him. Since his dialogue is AI generated, the game would use speech to text of your actual voice for communication, So you're literally just talking to the game, and the game then responds using text-to-speech of what like the chatbot came up with. Now, you could do whatever you want to this person, become their friend, attack them, become their lover, it doesn't matter. And everything you do has consequences, both good and bad. So you could go up to this guy and say, hey, I need your help for a quest. And they can accept, they can decline, they can barter with you, whatever. And the next time you see them, they will recognize you. Like, you see this guy once, you say, hey, can you come on a quest with me? He says, nah, I'm busy, I'm doing something. You're like, all right, let me help you with it. You help him with it, you go on his own little quest, and then he decides to help you. And then he becomes your party member, and he's with you for the rest of the game. Or he can even say no and come back later after he did the thing he needed to do, and then go on the quest. You could go to a shop and say you're looking for a specific item, and the shopkeeper could see if there's any in the back, or like order it for you. You could kidnap a random stranger and hold them for ransom. You could battle and kill a bandit, then be attacked by their younger brother who's out for revenge. Then you add systems like the New Vegas Karma reputation system, which assigns you different levels of notoriety depending on if you did something good or something bad. Add a friendship meter to every NPC in a similar vein that has options for if you're good or bad to them, allowing for complicated relationships. As you travel with NPCs, you can learn more about them and build like an actual legitimate bond with them, even romantic ones if you're into that. And as you gain notoriety, you are given more and more options. Think of the infinite replayability. On your first playthrough, you could befriend everyone you see, build up basically an army of friends, and have this like wholesome adventure with a bunch of people. You could talk down every enemy you see. Then on your second, you could be a lone wolf, killing everyone you see, and becoming a sort of boogeyman that people begin to fear. When I play an RPG like Fallout or Skyrim, there is such a disconnect between my gameplay style and how I talk to NPCs. In combat, I am a killing machine. Zero mercy if you shoot at me. But in dialogue, I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet. With AI, you can implement a system that allows the NPCs to react to how you play the game. So if you've killed 500 people, word about that would spread, and people would begin to fear you. Some would even try to track you down looking for a challenge. Now, I could go on and on about this one implementation of AI in a game, but it won't matter unless somebody actually makes it. So until then, it's just a concept. And I've talked about its implementation in a multiplayer horror game where the monster is controlled by an AI that samples your voice and mutes you to divide you and your friends, mimicking you with text-to-speech versions of yourself, collecting audio data from you to return as a weapon. Or you could make a game that's just a glorified version of typing to a chatbot where the AI is given like a 3D model of a human form and uses text-to-speech. So you could go on like an AI date or something. Now, honestly, that sounds kind of depressing, like something straight out of Blade Runner. So maybe don't do that one. But out of all of the examples, that's definitely the one that's going to happen the fastest. But my whole point in even making this video is to inspire future devs and even the current ones to look to this technology as a way to evolve gaming. The games industry has become so stale and devoid of that creative spark, filled with microtransactions and yearly DLCs, item shops and battle passes that can so easily be changed with the right people at the helm. The people making the games that no one else dares to. And that's an oversimplification. I mean, Elden Ring exists, that game's a masterpiece. But the whole purpose of my channel is to inspire creativity and take even the bad ideas and turn them into something amazing. So like, if you think you could do this, I want you to try. That's enough of me being inspirational for a while. So with that being said, I hope to see you in the next one.